Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm Akeem Lawanson, and in today's Fix of Entertainment news, we got to talk about the Marvels movie and what the director of the film thinks about superhero fatigue. Now, you might be surprised what she has to say. And we've got further details on the Bruce Lee anime series, plus a whole lot more in today's Fix. Let's drop it. Now, we've gone over this numerous times in the past, debated it on IGN Super Debatable series, as well as written countless articles on the subject matter. Is superhero fatigue a real thing? Well, the answer is yes, it is, but you don't need to take it from me. Nia DaCosta, the director for the upcoming Marvels movie, believes it exists as well. But I should caveat this with the but. Get this. She doesn't think superhero fatigue applies to her upcoming MCU movie. Go figure. Yeah, superhero fatigue exists, but not when we're talking about something I'm associated with. No, of course not. Now, here's what she had to say while speaking with Total Film. Quote, I think superhero fatigue absolutely exists. The biggest difference from the other MCU movies to date is that it's really wacky and silly. The worlds we go to in this movie are worlds unlike others you've seen in the MCU. Bright worlds that you haven't seen before. Yeah, so the Marvels, according to the director, will be wacky and silly with vibrant and bright worlds we've never seen in the MCU before, apparently. Yeah, that to me doesn't really sell me on the Marvels being a different experience to any of the other MCU movies we've seen in the past. Like, just to name a few, we've gotten 2 wacky and silly Thor movies, plus a whole Guardians trilogy that took us to quite a few vivid and bright worlds. And to be very honest with you, there's absolutely nothing about the Marvels movie that I personally find appealing enough to pay to see it in theaters. Now, I say this often, if it weren't my job to watch these films to generate content around them, I'd pass on this one. Now, the trailer does admittedly look like a fun romp, but not necessarily something I'd be compelled to see within the first few weeks or months of its release as a casual consumer. Now, I think one of the major contributing factors to superhero fatigue is the fact that these studios are just putting out films based around characters that no one ever asked to see helming their very own projects. Like, there's no large online community clamoring to see a Blue Beetle live-action movie. Like, no one asked for a Batgirl film, and even though it does exist, we'll fortunately never see it. Now, while I like Miss Marvel, Captain Marvel, and Monica Rambeau, there's never been a single moment in my comic book reading life that I said to myself, you know what I'd like to see? These 3 characters starring in their very own movie together. No, I've never said it. Now, Captain Marvel and Miss Marvel have carried their own comic book series, with the latter being killed off in Amazing Spider-Man issue number 26. And now there's plans to have the actor who plays Miss Marvel, Iman Vellani, pen a new Miss Marvel comic series. And speaking with Entertainment Weekly on the project, she told them, quote, I've never written anything before in my entire life, but I have read many comics, so I just wrote what I would want to read. I was given a very professional tool to write what is essentially my own fan fiction. Wow, now you've never written anything before. Yeah, that gives me all the confidence in the world. I love reading fan fiction from someone that's never written a single story in their entire life. Until now. Yeah. Now, anyway, the team up in the Marvels just feels like a project cobbled together in a boardroom rather than a story that needed to be told. Like, some might speculate there's an agenda behind this whole thing, but I won't go too far down that particular rabbit hole on this one. Admittedly, I'm probably not the target demographic for this movie, but it still feels like a far cry from the kind of event that new Marvel movies used to be. Like, while I'd never root for the downfall of any project, I have a feeling that the Marvels movie won't be a box office hit for Marvel Studios. Ant-Man 3 grossed over $400 million worldwide and yet still underperformed at the box office for a Marvel film. Like, it made slightly more than its $200 million budget, but didn't break even during its theatrical run. I kind of feel the Marvels movie might be in the same boat. Now, earlier in August, the Disney Plus Miss Marvel series was the first original MCU series to air in its entirety on network television. Now, this was likely to subtly promote the upcoming movie starring the character, as not a lot of casual fans will be familiar with Miss Marvel. I'm really not sure about this particular film, but I definitely want to know what y'all think. Like, is it really just superhero fatigue or just bad movie making and ideas? Like, do you think some people just claim superhero fatigue as a means to compensate for just shoveling bad movies and ideas to us fans while slapping a cape on it? Like superhero fatigue or just bad movie fatigue? Sound off down below. Now, in other news, we've got Hayden Christensen picking up the lightsaber yet again as Anakin Skywalker in the upcoming Disney Plus series Ahsoka. Now, in the new teaser trailer, we hear Anakin speaking to Ahsoka, tracing back their storied relationship to the Clone Wars as Master and Padawan, respectively. Now, Christensen recently reprised the role of Anakin in the Obi-Wan Kenobi series, playing Anakin in flashbacks as well as donning the iconic Vader mask to square off with his former master. Now, considering Ahsoka takes place after Vader's demise in the original trilogy, expect Christensen's performance and appearances to be all flashbacks. But who knows? Maybe we'll see the return of Force Ghost Anakin. Ooh. As Star Wars fans may know, the two characters have some baggage. Ahsoka walked away from the Jedi Order after being falsely accused of being involved in the Jedi Temple bombing. Now, the last time Ahsoka and Anakin saw each other was when she confronted him as Darth Vader in Star Wars Rebels. We'll have to wait and see how the new show builds on what we know about the relationship. Look forward to it on August 23rd. And finally, you gotta check out this upcoming Bruce Lee anime. Now, created by the late martial artist's daughter, Shannon Lee, the action fantasy is based on one of Bruce Lee's quotes: "Those who are unaware they are walking in darkness will never seek the light." Now, it'll see the martial artist seeking to assemble a group of warriors to fight and fend off the darkness that lay in the shadows of society to save the world from plunging into a state of sheer evil. Looking at the trailer, it's got that classic 80s, 90s anime aesthetic, kind of reminiscent of the Fist of the North Star anime. Now, Ken Shiro's visual design was in fact based on Bruce Lee's, so it kind of makes sense to be reminded of that classic martial arts action anime. Now, there's no release date just yet for the anime, but it's great to see one of the greats is finally getting his very own anime. So crazy, Jackie Chan had his own animated series before Bruce Lee. But you know what? It's never too late to be immortalized in 2D. Right, and that about does it for today's Entertainment Fix. I'm Akeem Lawanson, and thank y'all so much for watching. Now that you're caught up on today's news, please check out our previous episode. Download the IGN app on all your devices, and for everything else, stick with IGN.